Today, we are going to think about Milo and some of the gifts he's received and how that might help him or the significance of those gifts. So first, I want to start off by telling you about mentors. A mentor is a guide or a teacher who gives advice and supports a younger or less learned person. So for example, I shared with you at the beginning of this school year that my fifth grade teacher served as a mentor for me. Remember, I told you all about my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Egger, and how he was so important to me becoming a teacher because he really cared about me as a student. And he always came to events that I had. If I had something going on at church or if I had something going on sports-wise, he was always there for me, even after fifth grade. This is a picture of me and Mr. Egger at my graduation when I graduated from 12th grade. So if you think about that, that's 7 years after I had him as a teacher, he was still there for me. So I would consider Mr. Egger a mentor in my life. He was older than me and he gave me advice. He always helped me and coached me through school. If I had a question or a situation I was in, I called him for help. And even as a teacher, I've called Mr. Egger for help when I have things I don't know what to do. So I want you to think about the definition of a mentor. Do you have a mentor in your life? Just like you have mentors in your life and I have mentors in my life, Milo has had people who have influenced him, people who have been there for him and helped guide him and coach him along the way. So when heroes go on a quest, as part of the plot of the story, they often meet one or more mentors or helpers who give them advice or maybe a gift that helped them on their quest. So I want you to think about who is Milo's mentor. Who has mentored Milo along the way? How has Alec served as a mentor to Milo? Be sure to use the word mentor in your answer. Write your answer to this question on Handout 19A. How has Alec Bing served as a mentor to Milo? He's given Milo some good advice about having his own point of view. How else has he helped Milo? Alec also gave him a telescope, which might prove to be important to him later. So I want you to think about, of the other characters that Milo has met, King Azaz, Humbug, Spelling Bee, who else has been a mentor to Milo? Who's given him advice or gifts along his quest? What important advice or gifts have they given? I think of Talk as a mentor because he gave Milo important advice to help him escape the doldrums. He said, think and you'll get to moving. Faintly Macabre was a mentor because she gave Milo good advice about why it's wrong to use too few and too many words. She also helped him get out of the dungeon or out of prison. King Azaz is a mentor because he gave Milo a box of all the words he knew and advised him about how he could use them. So if we look at Handout 19A, Milo's gifts, we are going to look at the different gifts that Milo has received. We're going to look at how they might be used and the significance of that gift. So follow along on Handout 19A as I go through this. If we look at the first gift, King Azaz gave Milo a box filled with all the words the king knows. The king tells Milo he can use the words to ask all the questions which have never been answered and answer all the questions which have never been asked. And with them, there's no obstacle that you cannot overcome. All you must learn to do is use them well and in the right places. So I think this gift is important because Milo can use words to his advantage to communicate with people, and he can ask questions and answer questions and have power because of the knowledge he'll gain. This gift will help Milo change other people's thoughts or feelings about important things. Be sure to add this onto your handout. The second gift that Milo receives is Alec gives him a telescope that he can look through to see things. Alec tells Milo there's so much worth noticing that often escapes the eye. You can see things as they really are, not just as they seem to be. So this seems important because Milo can see the truth in things. Milo can see important things that others might miss, and it might help him make good decisions and to not be fooled. Be sure to add this to your handout. Now, I want you to think, yesterday we talked about the way that Milo has changed or developed since he began his mission of trying to save rhyme and reason. And we talked about yesterday that in this chapter, Milo, Talk, and the Humbug enter the Valley of Sound where they discovered the complete silence. They can't even hear their own voices. What happens next? Remember, we learned that Milo takes a word out of the Soundkeeper's fortress and puts it in the cannon, and they break down the barrier, and now there is speaking in the Valley of Silence, or the Valley of Sound, where it is silent. So this is a turning point for him. He shows that he's changed. He has began to look or think of things at a different in a new way. And often characters change as a result of confronting problems. So think about the problem that Milo faced in the Valley of Sound, how he solved it, and how this is a turning point for him. So at the end of our reading of chapter 13 yesterday, we saw that the Soundkeeper gives Milo a gift to help him on his mission. I want you to flip over handout 19A, the first part, the gift at the top. We're going to review the text and fill out our chart. It says, "What a long, hard journey that will be. You'll need some nourishment," she cried, handing Milo a small brown package, neatly wrapped and tied with string. "Now remember, they're not for eating, but for listening, because you'll often be hungry for sounds as well as food. Here are street noises at night, train whistles a long way off, dry leaves burning, busy department stores, crunching toast, creaking bed springs, and of course, all kinds of laughter. There's a little of each, and in a far-off lonely place, I think you'll be glad to have them." Go ahead and fill out the top part where it says gift, use, and significance.